now 12:01 p.m. and I will call the meeting of the District of Columbia Board of Ethics and Government Accountability to order. I'm Bega Chairperson Norma Hutcheson, and this meeting is being held virtually via WebEx. Joining me today for this meeting are board members Charles Nottingham, Felice Smith, Darrin Sobin, and Melissa Tucker. And together we constitute a quorum for this meeting. Since it was first posted, the meeting agenda has not been changed in any way. And please take a moment to review the agenda, and then we'll have a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'd like to offer the motion that we adopt the agenda for today's meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda for today's meeting. If there are no questions, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the board has adopted the agenda for today's meeting. Also before us today are the August 3rd, 2023 draft meeting minutes. And I ask that you review those and then have pose a motion to consider approval of those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Great. It's been moved and seconded that the board consider approval of the August 3rd meeting minutes. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Any opposed? Hearing none, the board approves the August 3rd, 2023 meeting minutes. So the next item on our agenda is a report from the Office of Open Government. We'll hear from Director Niquelle Allen, who will proceed with the report on behalf of the office. She's also appearing via WebEx. Director Allen, please proceed.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members of the board. I am Niquelle Allen, Director of Open Government, and I am pleased to present this report on the activities of the Office of Open Government, or OOG. Since the last board meeting, OOG has continued to fulfill its mission of ensuring that all persons receive full and complete information regarding the affairs of the District of Columbia government and the actions of those who represent them. I will start with Open Meetings Act and Freedom of Information Act advice rendered by the office. The first item is advisory opinions. OOG has not issued any advisory opinions since the last board meeting. The second item is informal Open Meetings Act and Freedom of Information Act advice. Since the last board meeting, OOG has responded informally via email or telephone to requests for assistance as follows. OOG responded to 15 requests for Open Meetings Act advice, 11 requests for FOIA advice, and 10 requests for technical assistance with open-dc.gov. Next is a report of the office's remote meeting monitoring. OOG's legal staff attends remote public body meetings to ensure compliance with the Open Meetings Act and to inspect public body websites and the OOG's central meeting calendar for public meeting notices and records. We provide legal advice on Open Meetings Act compliance and take corrective action if necessary. During August 2023, OOG's legal staff attended 23 remote public body meetings. As a result of the monitoring, 2 instances of written corrective measures were taken. The public bodies cited for correction both failed to cite the Open Meetings Act regulatory statement on their agendas. Now I will provide a report on OOG's training and outreach. On the first item, Building Trial Skills, National Institute for Trial Advocacy, or NITA. On August 1st through 25th, 2023, Attorney Weil attended a training series offered by NITA. The training provided interactive drills on direct and cross-examination of lay witnesses. The course covered rules of evidence, impeachment, procedure, tactics of working with exhibits, opening statements, and closing arguments. The next item is Family Support Council Open Meetings Act training. On August 9th, 2023, Attorney Skirbo, assisted by Attorney Weil, remotely presented Introduction to the Open Meetings Act to the Family Support Council, which covered the fundamentals of the Open Meetings Act for public bodies. OOG legal staff also attended the training. The next item is the Nexus webinar, Cybersecurity and Attorneys' Ethical Duties. On August 10th, Attorney Weil attended a training offered by LexisNexis University. The program reviewed attorneys' ethical duties with respect to cybersecurity, recent guidelines, and practical guidance for meeting these responsibilities and resources for researching further. This program covered the current state of law firm cybersecurity, recent incidents, and assessment of common practices, attorneys' ethical obligations, and resources for cybersecurity research. The next training is the Office of the Attorney General, HIPAA awareness, privacy, and security training. On August 23rd, Chief Counsel Barton, Attorney Skirbo, Attorney Weil, and Attorney DeBerry and OGE staff attended HIPAA awareness training presented by Tina Curtis, Director of the Office of Attorney General's Office of Privacy and Confidentiality. The training provided information about the district's privacy requirements under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. The next item is LexisNexis Artificial Intelligence and Legal Analytics discussion. On August 23rd, 2023, Attorney DeBerry attended a LexisNexis discussion on AI and legal analytics for state and local government attorneys. Archival and record management. On August 25th, Attorney DeBerry attended public records and archival management training with the DC Office of Public Records. And note that Attorney DeBerry is our records officer for the agency. Office of the Attorney General ethics training. On August 30th, 2023, Attorney Skirbo attended OAG's ethics training hour, which covered ethics issues for district agencies and attorneys. DC Water FOIA training. On August 30th, Attorney Weil conducted a FOIA training for DC Water. The training was informative and well attended, and the OOG legal team also attended the training. Office of the State Superintendent of Education, DC FOIA training. On August 31st, Attorney DeBerry collaborated with the agency to present a remote training on FOIA for OSCE staff. OOG's legal staff also attended the training. Parliamentary procedure training and discussion for the Family Support Council. On August 31st, 2023, Attorney Weil led a remote discussion for the Family Support Council about the use of parliamentary procedures to conduct meetings under the OMA. The meeting was well received, and OOG's legal staff also attended the discussion. District of Columbia local school advisory teams. On August 31st, 2023, Chief Counsel Barton and Attorney DeBerry met with the District of Columbia Public Schools Manager of Community Affairs and Engagement. The discussion focused on how OOG may help the local school advisory teams regarding OMA compliance. Chief Counsel Barton and Attorney DeBerry explained examples of OMA best practices and training for future collaboration. And the last item is Train the Trainer training. On September 8th, Attorneys Weil and Skirbo attended the Train the Trainer training along with Director Cooks, OGE staff, and Attorney Tran, conducted by Alex Kipp, Director of Education and Engagement for New York City's Conflicts of Interest Board. The training introduced participants to presentation fundamentals, including vocal dynamics, audience engagement, and techniques for presenting online. This was the first date of a two-part seminar that will conclude on September 22nd. The litigation and legislative update is next. First, litigation. Tax analyst versus District of Columbia remanded for in-camera review of private letter rulings. As I have reported, tax analyst, a publisher of tax journals, and reporter Aaron Davis both sued the district under DC FOIA after the Office of Tax and Revenue denied their request for 24 private letter rulings, or PLRs. PLRs respond to the circumstances and data submitted by particular taxpayers, but the advice given in them has broader applicability, so the requester appellants argue that OTR must still release them after redacting specific details that would identify the underlying taxpayers. DC Official Code Section 47-4406A provides that an officer, employee, contractor, or former officer, employee, or contractor of the District of Columbia shall not divulge or make known in any manner federal, state, or local tax information either submitted by the taxpayer or otherwise obtained. The district argued that the subsection supersedes DC FOIA because 1, it is more specific, and 2, the PLRs in question would contain such tax information that even if it could be partially redacted, would leave the requested rulings with no informational value. On July 27th, a division of the District of Columbia's Court of Appeals handed down its opinion. The panel agreed with the Office of Tax and Revenue that there is no question that DC Official Code Section 47-4406 is an other statute to which Exemption 6 defers, Exemption 6 of DC FOIA. The judges then held that a PLR potentially falls under subsection A of the code, comparing 47-4406 to the corresponding federal tax provision, which is Section 6103 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. The judges reasoned that because PLRs may contain data furnished by taxpayers with respect to the determination of the existence or possible existence of liability or amount thereof, PLRs may contain return information and therefore tax information. However, the panel ultimately held that the Superior Court erred in granting summary judgment to the district without first examining PLRs in camera to determine whether any non-exempt portions of the documents were reasonably segregable from the tax-exempt information such that PLRs should be disclosed in redacted form. The judgment reversed and remanded for further consideration by the Superior Court. The slip opinion, judgment, and Superior Court reassignment and scheduling orders are in Dropbox, and OOG will continue to monitor the proceedings on remand. Chicago Justice Process FOIA suit against the District of Columbia regarding the gang database and opposing fee demands. As I reported previously, the Chicago Justice Project, or CJP, sued the district to compel the Metropolitan Police Department to release certain records concerning the gang tracking and analysis system. They won partial summary judgment. The parties continue to dispute the respective amounts for the advanced FOIA fees and attorney fees for CJP as the prevailing party. At her August 22nd status conference, Judge Dason granted in part CJP's demand for attorney's fees, awarding $62,252.51, and ordered a revised briefing schedule with respect to the district's demands for prepayment of FOIA review fees. The court has set a status hearing for October 27th, and OOG staff will continue to monitor this case. The new filings regarding attorney's fees are available in Dropbox. The next case is Baltimore Police Department et al. Versus Open Justice Baltimore. This is a fee waiver case. On August 31st, the Supreme Court of Maryland decided a case involving fee waivers under Maryland's Public Information Act. The court decided 1, the appellate standards for review of the fee waiver decisions, the arbitrary and capricious standard, and 2, some of the factors in deciding to grant or deny a fee waiver request, including A, the monetary cost of compliance to the agency as well as the burden on agency personnel, B, whether disclosure of the records would shed light on a public controversy, and C, whether a complete denial of a fee waiver would exacerbate the controversy. Here, the court held that the Baltimore Police Department had not fully analyzed whether the public interest supported a fee waiver and demanded to BDP for reconsideration of that determination. Note that Maryland language, like DC FOIA, is discretionary on its face. Documents may be furnished without charge or reduced charge where a public body determines that the waiver or reduction of fees is in the public interest because furnishing the information can be considered as primarily benefiting the general public. In the DC section that recites that is DC Official Code Section 2-532B. Still, the court held that If the custodian determines that either partial or total waiver would be in the public interest, there is no more discretionary work left for the custodian to do. A denial of the fee waiver after concluding that it would be in the public interest would necessarily be an arbitrary and capricious administrative action. This slip opinion is in Dropbox. Lastly, I will provide an update on administrative matters concerning the Office of Open Government. Advisory opinion publication. On August 30th, 2023, the OOG's first advisory opinion was published in the District of Columbia Register. The board was previously briefed on this advisory opinion, and a copy of the version published in the DC Register is in Dropbox. We are working on a continual project to have all our opinions eventually be published in the District of Columbia Register, and this is the first publication in that effort. Briefing on DC FOIA processing platform. On August 24th, 2023, Chief Counsel Bartlett met remotely with the District of Columbia's Chief Information Officer, Michael Rupert, to discuss the district's FOIA processing platform. The current contract has come to expiration, and the Office of the Chief Technology Officer is looking to different providers to provide the service of processing DC FOIA requests. As the board may recall, we wrote an advisory opinion about the deficiencies in their current system. So we look forward to reporting on them finding a better solution for processing DC FOIA requests. And the last item is Bega's office relocation. The Bega team continued weekly meetings with the Department of General Services and its contractors regarding the agency's relocation to 1030 15th Street Northwest. Director Allen, myself, Director Cooks, Chief of Staff Mitchell, and IT Specialist Brown met with DGS project managers and the construction team to discuss the progress of the agency's relocation to its new facility. The projected date of the relocation and office move is still November 2023. Chief of Staff Mitchell is coordinating the agency's move and met with the moving company last week. The construction is nearing completion, and the furniture delivery and installation are the next steps in the process. Director Cooks will also provide additional details in her report. This concludes the Office of Open Government's September 14th report. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have at this time.
Director Allen, are there any questions from the board? Ms. Allen? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go to the next item on the agenda, and that's a report from the Office of Government Ethics. Director Ashley Cooks, please proceed. Director Cooks is also appearing by WebEx.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members of the board. I'm Ashley Cooks, the Director of Government Ethics. I'm pleased to present this report on the activities of the Office of Government Ethics, OGE. First is an update on the status of OGE operations. The information reported today regarding OGE's cases will not reflect any status changes that may occur because of actions taken by the board during today's meeting. First, open investigations by status. We have 35 matters that are open, 1 matter that is open pending negotiations, for a grand total of 36. For an open undocketed matters, we have a grand total of 5. Pending state investigations by status, we have 35 matters that are closed pending collection, 3 matters stayed pending DC Superior Court case, 1 matter stayed for OAG False Claims Act case, 2 matters stayed for an OIG investigation, for a grand total of 41 matters. For regulatory matters by status, we have 26 closed pending collection matters and 26 matters that are open, for a grand total of 52. Again, we currently have 36 open investigations and 6 matters that are stayed. The number of open preliminary and formal investigations includes 10 new matters. The investigative team resolved 7 investigations since the board last met. This total does not reflect the number of complaints that were dismissed for a lack of jurisdiction. Pursuant to the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability Delinquent Debt Recovery Amendment Act of 2022, Bega may discretionarily transfer delinquent debts associated with settlements and judgments for Ethics and Open Meeting Act violations to the Office of the Chief Financial Officer Central Collection Unit, CCU, for collection. The act requires that funds collected on Bega's behalf be deposited into the Ethics Fund. OGE is in the process of the final stages of agreeing to a memorandum of agreement for debt collection services with the CCU. We had hoped to have a fully executed agreement before today, but employee absences have caused a delay. Once the agreement is finalized, we will begin the process of transferring delinquent debts to the CCU for collection. Next is an update on trainings and outreach. First, professional development trainings attended by staff. August and September have been very busy months for training for OGE. Senior Board Attorney Lynn Tran, General Counsel Rashi Raj, and I attended HIPAA awareness training coordinated by OOG and put on by Tina L. Curtis, the district-wide privacy and HIPAA security official for the Office of Privacy and Confidentiality at the Office of the Attorney General for the District of Columbia, OAG. General Counsel Rashi Raj and Attorney Advisor Fran Van attended 11th hour ethics training put on jointly by OAG and the DC Bar. OG attorneys and OOG attorneys Niquelle and Anthony Scarborough attended part 1 of a two-part series on Train the Trainer with Alex Kipp from the New York Conflict of Interest Board. This series was designed to help attorneys become more dynamic and engaging presenters, especially in terms of giving training. The second part of the series will occur next Friday, September 22nd. Alex Kipp is the Director of Education and Engagement at the New York Conflict of Interest Board and has been there for over 16 years. He has a diverse performance and theater background in addition to his ethics work. OGE has known him for years and reconnected with him at COGO last December via his presentations. Chief of Staff Christina Mitchell, Program Support Assistant Niquelle Titus, and IT Specialist Kevin Brown attended Quick Base Fundamentals presented by the Office of the Chief Technology Officer, OCTO. Mr. Brown and Ms. Titus are currently attending Quick Base Apathon at OCTO's office. Attorney Advisor Maurice Eckel attended the annual conference of National Black Prosecutors Association in Chicago, Illinois. Notable sessions included evidence-based prosecution, navigating the complex highway of protecting the community while keeping uncooperative victims engaged and informed. Litigation, mind your manners. Keeping up, avoiding discovery violations. Understanding the digital trial, and effective cross-examination. General Counsel Raj, Supervisory Investigator Ronald Cook, Attorney Advisors Maurice Eccles, Fran Van, and Marisa Jones attended Strategies for Instructional Excellence in Cheektowaga, New York. This is a course from the National Criminal Justice Training Center, which provides information on developing effective learning materials for adult learners and presenting them in a memorable and effective way. Next is an update on trainings conducted by staff. Since the August board meeting, OGE has conducted 3 training courses, including the August and September monthly ethics trainings and the August brown bag session. On Monday, August 28th, General Counsel Rashi Raj presented the Ethics Counselors Brown Bag session on official social media accounts. 42 ethics counselors were in attendance and engaged in discussion about the legality and ethical propriety of deleting comments or disabling them altogether on official social media accounts. A copy of the presentation was placed in the Dropbox. During the month of August, 30 employees completed our online ethics training via PeopleSoft, and 13 users completed 16 courses using the learning management system. Next is an update on outreach. OGE is preparing for Ethics Week 2023. The week-long event will take place on October 23rd through the 27th, 2023. This year's theme is Everyday Ethics. Hashtag can't go a day without it. The coordination committee led by Supervisory Attorney Stuart Mitchell has finalized the agenda, scheduled speakers, and purchased memorabilia. We are still developing and refining moderated discussions with a panel of local ethics authorities and another with a panel on artificial intelligence and ethics. We are also reviving sessions with perennial favorites such as the Campaign Legal Center, guest speaker Michael Brett Hood from last year, and of course the DC Bar for Legal Ethics for Government Attorneys. A final schedule was published on the Bega website and was placed in the Dropbox. An update on Bega newsletter. On Friday, August 18th, OGE published Volume 8, Issue 4 of its newsletter, Ethically Speaking. The newsletter provided financial disclosure filing information for non-filers, informed readers of ethical issues within the 3 branches of the federal government, including enforcement actions taken by this agency and other state ethics boards. This issue is available on the Bega website and was included in the Dropbox. The next issue will be published in October. Next is an update on advisory opinions and advice. First, informal advice. OGE's legal staff provided advice for approximately 41 ethics inquiries, which is 26 more than the 15 reported at the last board meeting. This number does not include responses we have provided to questions regarding lobbyists and FDSE filing systems. Formal advisory opinions. On June 22nd, OGE issued an advisory opinion guidance on the Local Hatch Act and the use of campaign slogans. The opinion reminds employees of the political activity restrictions and that the on-duty restriction applies to district-regulated political activity and federal political activity. Specifically, the opinion states that employees are permitted to use the phrase "Build Back Better" when referring to official policy initiatives by the Biden administration, but are prohibited from using "Build Back Better" as a campaign slogan while on duty or in the workplace, as well as slogans such as "Finish the Job," "Make America Great Again," or MAGA. The opinion has completed the 30-day comment period and has been finalized. A copy was placed in the Dropbox for your review. On August 2nd, OGE issued an advisory opinion upon request by the Executive Director of the Poverty Commission regarding the outside activity restrictions. The opinion addresses whether the director can serve as an adjunct professor at American University without the role conflicting with his government service. The opinion provides guidance on the conflict of interest statute and the outside activity restrictions. Based on the facts, there is no apparent conflict with the director's official duties and his potential employment as an adjunct professor. Therefore, the outside activity is permissible, but is still subject to the ethical restrictions. The opinion was published on the Bega website and submitted to the DC Register for a 30-day comment period. This opinion will be finalized on October 9th. A copy was placed in the Dropbox for your review. Next are legislation updates. First, the Comprehensive Code of Conduct. As defined in the Ethics Act, the Code of Conduct consists of 7 different statutes and regulations with variable applicability. The Comprehensive Code of Conduct, CCC, is legislation that consolidates the district's ethics laws and standardizes the ethical practices between the legislative and executive branches. OGE's legal team will again review and update the CCC with the goal of submitting an updated version of the legislation to the board and then the council. Next is the Committee on Executive Administration and Labor's Sexual Harassment Working Group. Councilmember Anita Bonds has invited Bega to join a working group to discuss improvements to the existing sexual harassment policies within the district government. The group will also be attended by staff from various agencies and will take place on 3 separate dates this month. General Counsel Rashi Raj attended the first meeting today. Next is an update on OGE administrative matters. First, OGE staffing. OGE welcomes several new employees. First, Attorney Advisor Marisa Jones is a graduate of the University of the District of Columbia's David A. Clark School of Law. She has 17 years of legal experience. The last 9 spent at DC Public Library, where she handled legal matters relating to public safety, risk management, ethics, FOIA, public and private contracting, foundation and volunteer partnerships, and administrative litigation. Investigator Rhoda Glasgow comes to us from the DC Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Administration. Ms. Glasgow has 3 years of law enforcement and field experience, investigations experience. She obtained her Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice Management and a master's degree in public administration from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Investigator Tasia Reed comes to us from Fairfax County government with roughly 3 years of experience investigating allegations of abuse or neglect. Ms. Reed obtained her master's degree of arts in rehabilitation and mental health counseling from the University of Arizona in Tucson, Arizona. She specializes in utilizing her clinical skills to build rapport with individuals and identifying deception during the investigative process. Tasia is a proud dog mom, and her dog Iris keeps her inspired daily. Finally, our new auditor, Courtney Walker, comes to us from the Office of the Inspector General. Ms. Walker is an experienced audit professional with over a decade's experience improving efficiencies of governance, financial, and operational processes. Her career in audit began as a staff accountant/associate with KPMG after successful completion of the summer internship program. Ms. Walker earned both her undergraduate and master's degree in business administration with a concentration in accounting from Hampton University. I am pleased to announce that our hiring process has ended and OGE is now fully staffed. Next is an update on office relocation. Our office relocation is still underway. OGE and OOG continue to meet weekly with the Department of General Services and the project management team to discuss construction and technology needs for the boardroom and staff areas. According to the construction team, the ceilings have been closed and Octo is in the process of completing technology installations. On September 6th, Chief of Staff Mitchell met with the moving vendor and completed an assessment of our current office space. The proposed move-in date remains November 2023, but may take place sooner. Next is an update on financial disclosure statement, FDS. Pursuant to DC Official Code Sections 1-1162.24 and 1-1162.25, public officials and certain government employees must file a financial disclosure statement as a means of transparency and to prevent engaging in conduct that violates the Conflicts of Interest statute. Bega is responsible for ensuring that employees and public officials who meet the statutory requirement file their annual financial disclosure statement. The 2023 financial disclosure statements were due on May 15th. In April, the FDS team sent emails to 4,186 public filers and 4,263 confidential filers announcing the deadline. This year, we extended a 30-day grace period to late filers. Any employee or public official who failed to file their statement on or by June 15th was penalized with a $300 fine. Overall, the financial disclosure season was successful, with 94% of all designated public filers and 92% of designated confidential filers completing the required financial disclosures. The FDS team has begun focusing on enforcement for 2021 and 2022, late filers and non-filers. On August 7th, the team sent notice to the 2021 late and non-filers, informing them of the assessed fine and pending garnishment from the Office of Pay and Retirement Services. Of those recipients, some have filed fine waivers with the board. On August 31st, Program Coordinator Kosick and Chief of Staff Mitchell attended a meeting with AFS-CME Local 2401's Executive Board regarding financial disclosure statement requirements for its members and information on the e-filing system. As a result of this conversation, the FDS team has been invited to address the union members at the January 2024 membership meeting to encourage union members who have been designated as fires to participate timely and accurately. And last is an update on lobbying registration and reporting, LRR. Pursuant to DC Official Code Section 1-1162.27A, a person who receives compensation or expends funds in an amount of $250 or more in any 3 consecutive calendar month period for lobbying shall register with the Director of Government Ethics and pay the required registration fee. According to DC Official Code Section 1-1162.30, each registrant shall file a quarterly report concerning the registrant's lobbying activities during the previous quarter. OGE received 6 activity reports in August and 3 were filed late. Fine notices were sent to the registrants advising them of the issue and the appropriate fine. The LOR team has been meeting with Octo to identify the e-filing system improvements. On September 6, Octo informed the team that many of the enhancements were ready for testing. After testing and approval, Octo expects to deploy the upgrades on September 22nd. I will provide the board with a detailed list of the improvements at the next board meeting. This concludes, we didn't have any public comments. So thank you. This concludes the Office of Government Ethics September 14, 2023 report.
Thank you, Director Cooks. Are there any questions for Director Cooks? Did I hear you say that the move to the new space might be earlier than November, possibly?
It may be. We have the date is the end of November, but I learned this morning that the furniture is going to be delivered sooner than expected by the end of this month. So once that is installed, then we probably will get a sooner move-in date.
Well, just keep us posted. Are there any other questions for Director Cooks? Okay, and I believe you also said that we did not receive any comments in response to our invitation to the public to submit public comments by 11 a.m. today.
Correct.
So then the next item on our agenda is our executive session or closed session. The next agenda item is a closed session to discuss ongoing confidential investigations pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B14, to consult with an attorney to obtain legal advice and to preserve the attorney-client privilege between an attorney and a public body pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B4A, to discuss personnel matters including the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, performance evaluation, compensation, discipline, demotion, removal, or resignation of government appointees, employees, or officials pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B10, to deliberate on a decision in which the Ethics Board will exercise quasi-judicial functions pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B13, and to discuss contract negotiation strategies pursuant to DC Official Code Section 2-575B2. May I have a motion to enter executive session?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the board enter the executive session. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Right, and the motion passes unanimously. Board members, please log out of this session and log into the WebEx for the executive session. Once the executive session ends, we will return to this WebEx to report out any matters decided, finish any other business, and adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Okay. The time is now 2 p.m. and we are back on the record. And I have two items to report out from the board's decisions, two board decisions. One is that we approved a formal public investigation in the matter of 23-0030-P N. Ray D. Du Bois. And we approved a negotiated disposition in the matter of 23-0074 N. Ray D. Neal. That concludes the meeting of the DC Board of Ethics and Government Accountability for this month. And our next meeting will be held remotely via WebEx on October the 5th at 2023 at 12 p.m. Thank you, and we will see you next month. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.